Trump's energy stocks will help you retire, make more money. This ticker is Valero, VLO, and since last year, refinery operating income has tripled from about 500 million to over 1.5 billion. Now, how they did that is miraculous. They're selling all their gas and they're able to basically refine it at a very high margin as well. So improvements on the actual product side. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to oil and gas companies, but I do know this chart looks great. That is a huge increase, tripling operating income. And the connection to Trump is really that this company in 23, 24, 97% of their contributions through their PAC went to Republican candidates. So it's safe to say this company is in the good graces of the current administration. It's VLO. Let's jump into a breakdown.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
So, yeah, here's the big news. There's the Trump connection, 90% contribution to Republicans. And then as far as that, earnings, I mean, we can see on the chart that the earnings is great, but I think this is a big deal. I mean, that's a huge difference. That's literally tripling. So if we look at the chart, we see that it's holding after this earnings jump, and we have another leg up, and now we're getting into a relatively important level. I mean, this is all the way back in March of last year, and we might hit that again. So first we have to get over this spot right here, okay? But this holding is really important. So if we look at other earnings reactions, right? Here's Datadog. It just started, okay? So it's holding on day one, which is a strong vote of confidence. A lot of companies, I purposefully wait for the candle to close. This is day one, actually, right here, because it opened in the morning, not in the after hours. But if we looked at some other ones, Microsoft is in the after hours, right? So this is where you would measure day one. And if we look at earnings reactions such as, I don't know, I guess Apple would be an okay example of what I'm talking about here. So you need to wait for it to close because look, the earnings reaction went up and then it sold off to a level where it started. So that's kind of why patience is really helpful here. I see it's still holding that level. So if we look at Valero, it held that level, and we can look in here to see it more clearly. Held that level right here in the after hours, about 172 and change, somewhere in here, and then held up and broke out over it. So that's still a spot to risk off of, but this strength is really encouraging. So that's the technicals of to why this is interesting in the first place. And then how they're able to get earnings that are interesting. Well, if they're using all of their oil, aka selling it, that's a pretty good deal. And then there's also, the question of, hey, how are they able to get this tripling, right? Seems like a pretty big deal. Operating income up 1.5 billion compared to 565 million. And the throughput went up. That's a serious increase. Margin per barrel. So engineers or oil specialists could tell you how they were able to do that. But I don't think it's something particular to this period in time. I think it's some type of technology. And then how much they actually refined increased significantly as well. So we could dive into this in detail. But yeah, this is sort of important is there going to be less people buying their gas? That's sort of what oil traders do every single day. And then is there anything about, supply that could change it as well? Are there going to be other companies that are providing more oil on the market? That's like specific to the amount they're generating. And then as far as just the price of oil in general, this is also notable as well. So positive but weak correlation with crude oil prices. And I mean, we can just look too. If we zoom out, maybe it's a little more clear as to how this is kind of, but not really actually helpful. So that's VLO. And then if we look at crude oil, I mean, it's tough, right? To see some type of correlation, right? Connection. Like June went up and then deep fall June 22nd. So if we look there, June went up and then fall June 22nd. Like it does have a change. That was pretty, did you see, if you can go back to this video and just see that message from Schwab, that's like preserved in history. This is like a moment for the ages. No pattern day trader flagged anymore. So that is like, there is nothing more, endemic or whatever the word is about this administration than no pattern day trader. And if you don't know what that is, someone in the comments will say it, but that was like a moment in time. I'm glad that was captured on video. But last note on VLO, the level's pretty clear. The correlation we just saw, it does affect the price, but it doesn't affect the overall trend. So we can just basically ignore that, which I know is crazy. I'm talking all over the place about, macro oil prices, supply and demand. I obviously don't know what I'm talking about, and that's because it doesn't matter, and we can see that on the chart. The way I buy these is solid earnings reaction, and just like this is GM or whatever kind of company, you risk the top, the earnings close, and then see it go up. So that's the idea of VLO. If you like these ideas, hit that like button. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. And if you want to work one-on-one, head to stockscommunity.com.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.